The arrival. The warning lights flashed across the monitoring station's main screen, bathing Commander Zyral's emerald scales in a harsh crimson glow. His four-fingered hand trembled slightly as he studied the energy readings. In his 15 years manning the Dominion's frontier station, he had never encountered anything like this. "Sir, the readings are off the charts," Officer Lyra exclaimed, her twin antennae twitching nervously as she worked the scanning controls. "This ship's power signature doesn't match anything in our database." Zyrel leaned forward, his throat sac expanding with tension. The vessel was massive, far beyond the scale of anything their sector had recorded before. The energy output alone suggested a war machine of unparalleled strength, and it was approaching fast. "Confirm trajectory," Zyrel ordered, forcing steel into his voice. Lyra's claws danced over the controls. "Straight toward us, Commander. Estimated arrival, 5 minutes." A cold dread coiled in Zyrel's gut. He had dealt with pirates, rogue traders, and even the occasional incursion from rival species. But this was different. The Dominion had always considered the Terrans an enigma, far from their borders, seemingly primitive compared to the great galactic powers. Yet whispers had circulated of their brutal efficiency, of their ability to wage war like no other. If those whispers were true, then they were about to witness it firsthand. "Raise the defense grid," Zyrel commanded, "and send an urgent transmission to High Command. Tell them the humans are here." First contact. The station's automated defenses whirred to life, massive plasma turrets locking onto the incoming vessel. Zyrel watched as the warship emerged from the darkness of space, its hull black as the void, illuminated only by the burning energy surging from its thrusters. The sight sent a ripple of unease through the command deck. Lyra swallowed hard. "They aren't slowing down." "Hail them," Zyrel barked. "Open a channel. We must at least attempt diplomacy." A moment later, static crackled over the comms. Then a voice, cold, calculated, and undeniably human, echoed through the station. "This is Captain Elias Varro of the UNS Retribution. Stand down and surrender your station. Non-compliance will be met with force. You have 60 seconds." A deathly silence settled over the command deck. Zyrel's grip tightened around the armrest of his chair. They had heard stories of human audacity, of their ruthless precision in battle. But now, confronted with it directly, the true weight of those rumors became suffocatingly real. "Orders, Commander?" Lyra asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Zyrel exhaled slowly. "Prepare for combat. We do not surrender." The first strike. The command deck erupted into action. Officers relayed orders, defense systems primed, and battle protocols activated. The station's shields flared as power surged through their conduits, forming an energy barrier against the approaching warship. "Target their engines," Zyrel instructed. "If we can disable their mobility, we might gain some leverage." Turret control officers nodded, aligning the station's weapons. Lyra's voice cut through the tension. "Commander, they've locked weapons on us. They're charging their main cannon." A deep hum vibrated through the station as the human warship's primary weapon came online. Zyrel gritted his teeth. The first strike was coming. "Brace for impact!" he shouted. A blinding beam of energy lanced through the void, striking the station's shields. The entire structure trembled violently as alarms blared. Readings spiked. Power levels fluctuated dangerously. "Shields holding," Lyra confirmed, though her tone was laced with urgency. "But another hit like that, and we won't last much longer." Zyrel narrowed his eyes. He had underestimated the humans. He wouldn't make that mistake again. "Fire all batteries! Show them we will not fall without a fight!" Desperate measures. Blasts of plasma fire erupted from the station's turrets, lighting up the void as they hurtled toward the UNS Retribution. The human warship, however, displayed incredible agility, its thrusters bursting to life as it weaved through the attack. "Direct hit on their lower hull," an officer called out. "Minimal damage," Lyra added grimly. "Their armor is absorbing most of the impact." Zyril clenched his jaw. "Then we change tactics. Focus fire on their weapon systems. We need to disarm them." Just as he issued the command, another blast from the Retribution's main cannon tore through the station's shields. The explosion rocked the entire structure, sending sparks flying and consoles flickering with energy surges. "Commander, we're losing power!" an engineer shouted. Zyril made a split-second decision. "Redirect all power to emergency reserves. Keep us in the fight." The storm approaches. The red emergency lights pulsed like a dying heartbeat aboard the UES Thunder. Captain James Walker tightened his grip on the armrests, his knuckles pale. The holographic display flickered, showing the incoming Dominion fleet in cold, ruthless detail. Jack, the young communications officer, swallowed hard before speaking. "Captain, another distress signal from the colony. Bea Centauri is running out of time." Walker exhaled slowly, his eyes tracing the jagged scars along Thunder's hull. The warship, nearly 2 kilometers long, had endured a dozen brutal battles. Her armor was battered, but her spirit was unbroken. "Helm, prepare for emergency jump. We're answering that call." The crew snapped into action, their movements crisp despite the tension. Thunder's engines rumbled as power surged through her war-torn frame. Walker turned to his tactical officer. "Status on the railguns and missile batteries?" 70% operational, Captain. It'll have to do." A sharp nod. "Then we fight with what we have. Engage the jump drive." The stars outside twisted into violent streams as the Thunder vanished into the void. The arrival. The UES Thunder emerged from hyperspace, her hull glowing from the transit. Before them lay Bea Centauri, its cities flickering with desperation. Above the colony, Dominion warships loomed like hungry predators. Walker's jaw tightened as he analyzed the enemy formation. "Multiple destroyers, 2 dreadnoughts, and a flagship," reported Tactical. The Thunder was outgunned, but surrender wasn't an option. "Launch all fighter squadrons, shields to full. Bring main batteries online." The ship vibrated as missiles and laser turrets primed for battle. Jack's voice wavered. "Captain, the colony governor is pleading for immediate support." Walker's eyes burned with determination. "Tell them we're here to hold the line." The first Dominion volley streaked toward them, glowing death in the void. Thunder's shields flared as the impacts rocked the ship. "Return fire!" Walker roared, and the warship answered in kind. Railgun rounds and missile salvos tore into the enemy's vanguard. The battle for Bea Centauri had begun. Fire and fury. Explosions blossomed across the void as Thunder's cannons found their mark. A Dominion destroyer buckled under the relentless assault. Its hull split apart, a silent scream in the darkness. Walker leaned forward, studying the battle map with razor-sharp focus. "Enemy flagship repositioning. They're adapting," Tactical warned. "Then we'll force their hand," Walker replied, eyes gleaming. "Helm, angle us toward the dreadnoughts. We're cutting through their heart." The ship shuddered as Dominion torpedoes struck their flank. Shields flickered but held, barely absorbing the brunt. "Engineering, reinforce the starboard plating. We need that armor intact." Thunder's railguns fired again, punching through a second destroyer. The Dominion fleet adjusted, their flagship now locking onto them. An eerie calm settled over the bridge before the inevitable storm. Walker exhaled. "All hands, brace for impact." The Dominion's counterattack began. The heart of battle. The flagship's main cannons glowed ominously before releasing a salvo. Thunder trembled as energy rounds slammed into her port side. Walker gritted his teeth as alarms blared across the bridge. "Damage report," he barked, gripping the chair's armrests. "Decks 6 through 9 have hull breaches. Fire teams deployed." The Dominion forces pressed harder, tightening the noose. Walker's mind raced. He needed a decisive move. Tactical? Status on our spinal railgun? Charged and ready, Captain. Good. Target the flagship's bridge and fire. The ship lurched as the massive weapon discharged. A streak of light carved through the void, striking true. The Dominion flagship reeled as explosions rippled along its spine. Walker seized the moment. All batteries full assault, and this! The battle raged, but the tide had turned. Victory at a cost. Thunder's cannons roared, decimating the remaining Dominion forces. One by one, enemy ships crumbled under the relentless fire. Walker wiped sweat from his brow, exhaustion gnawing at him. "Captain, the colony is hailing us," Jack reported. "Patch them through," Walker said, steadying himself. A weary governor appeared on the screen, gratitude in his eyes. "You saved us, Captain. Bea Centauri owes you everything." Walker nodded, but his expression was grim. The battlefield was strewn with wreckage, both friend and foe. "How many did we lose?" he asked quietly. "Casualties are high, sir. But we held the line." Walker closed his eyes for a brief moment, then stood tall. "Prepare for recovery operations. We honor our fallen." Thunder drifted among the ruins, victorious but scarred. Another battle won, but at a heavy price. End of story. Thanks for watching.